hearing a note that's halfway between these two notes. Guess I have to be a cappella. It's like a flat version of an A. Something obvious here in this place that made me run away. That I want to leave again and again like a story. Put it on the shelf, look away. Don't wonder, don't ask to save it for a rainy day. It's not okay, and it will never be okay to take it out and play with the pages you didn't write. You were just a child, you were taken against your will. Couldn't put up a fight. 'Cause how do you fight an ancient rhythm passing down through time, passing on in time, like outer space inventions flowing forward like spaceships from the back of your neck? They're not yours, they just want to control you, and it's okay if you don't believe me. It's okay if you don't believe me, but why would I write this song if I didn't have to write this song? 'Cause it's gone on and on and on for much too long, for way too long. It's not my invention. It was never my intention to be this, to be here, to be weird, to be ugly, to be brave, to be small and still be strong, to be everything I am. I wouldn't be this, 'cause who would be this? I know it's kind of weird. I know it's kind of sad. I know it's kind of funny, and it also makes me glad. I'm proud of who I am, of what I have become. 'Cause knowing where I started and where I come from, it hurts to feel the game, to feel it like a game, to hear you say my name like I am something that let you down. That let you down. That's how I wanted to sing those notes. I feel it in my veins. I can't complain, 'cause why would I trade the thing that makes me feel so dang here, year after year? I feel my fingertips feel my fingertips now. I wrote a song about them before. I was always testing and searching and touching and finding, like a way of keeping track, like a way of keeping score. But now I'm here and I can see and feel and touch and know and breathe again, and memories flood me like that seashell on our counter, like that seashell necklace with the twisting clasp, and that sandcastle made of glue, I think, that I had when I was 8 or 7. I'll never really know. It meant the world to me back then, and I can pretend it matters when maybe it doesn't. But when you've lived half a lifetime in search of this moment, and you feel the world and it doesn't break you and it feels like growing up, then maybe you should smile and say, I made it and I'm happy to be here, to be here, to be here. Maybe I can. To be here, 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 to be tried to detune my ukulele. I don't think I did it evenly. Not at all. Well, thanks for coming with on my adventure evening. It's a Friday night. That's what I do for fun. I also just bought some Blue Moon beers because that's something I've reclaimed. You can have trauma that was alcohol related and still know that you yourself can handle it. A couple beers here and there. It's not a thing. I don't draw firm lines in the sand anymore. Fundamentalism has definitely caused me more grief than relief. More grief than relief. The only thing I'm really fundamentalist about is that I feel that it is a choice. And maybe some people don't think it's a choice. They just don't feel it. But I do feel that it's a choice to choose God. And I know that's a controversial thing to say in modern society. But I think every single moment we have a choice to understand that there are forces at work here that maybe we don't understand. In every single religion and spiritual practice, I see some sort of battle or some sort of war, either within the self or with cosmic forces that we don't understand. And at the end of the day, even the Dalai Lama says this, like, you don't have to convert religions, you just turn to the thing that you find or have previously found comfort in. And if you're in a chapter of your life, like I've had multiple chapters where I was an atheist or an agnostic, both, two separate chapters. And in hindsight for me, and I'm not saying this is true for you, but in hindsight for me, it was hatred and anger at both God and churches and people in churches. Like full-blown hatred and full-blown anger and too much awareness of hypocrisies that I saw, or just things that I felt were being asked of me by God or by the Bible or churches or people that I thought were too far or too much. And it's a very personal journey. My grandmother was a nun. I know I say that a lot, but it's something I take comfort in, to know that she felt that she had visions as I have. And I also like hear things that feel like visions. Well, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a sensation to be able to separate a feeling of something that feels holy from something that feels like it does not have my best interest at heart or in mind. Anyway, I don't really want to veer off into dark topics. I do think there are all kinds of things going on here that we don't understand. So that's why I turn to something bigger than me. One thing I learned a long time ago in 12-step rooms, even though those didn't turn out to be right for me, I learned some good things. But one of them was, like, you know, they talk about God a lot, and what they say for people who don't believe in God is just, you know, anything that's not you, anything bigger than you. It could be systems, it could be the mystery, it could be the universe, it could be anything. It could be science, anything bigger than you that you can believe in, so that you're not just relying on your own. I don't know. I was going to say mind, but it's not just that. It's not just that we're all trapped in our minds. I think of this as some heavy, heavy Adam and Eve kind of shit. I don't know what you think, but when I read things about Adam and Eve and the fall and all of that, I connect that to every religion and spiritual practice ever, and I see this idea of like maybe there was one great fall, but also all the moments everywhere where we fall, where we choose the wrong thing. I don't know anyone who doesn't do that. I've done it many times in my life. I've chosen the wrong thing that sent me on like 20-year-long tangents of karma, I think. And I inherited some karma, clearly, because some things happened to me when I was so young that there's no way I deserve that as a person. I almost wonder, like, if souls take on karma to help elevate. Elevate. That's so arrogant. It feels arrogant, and that's something trying to mess with me. But I guess what I mean is, maybe at a soul level we do choose to try to hope to elevate, but we could mess up and not make it. So maybe it's not arrogant, because maybe I'm not making it. Maybe it's not working. But, you know, I've noticed some of the stuff that I do, I've probably caused as many negative ripples as I've caused positive ones. And I don't know if we're just flailing and failing humans, you know? We all are. We're all probably failing as much as we're flailing. No, flailing and failing are both bad. We're all probably failing and flailing as much as we are succeeding and helping, you know, on any topic ever. Or maybe we have certain topics that we have a sort of natural gift at. Like words work for me. They organize in my mind, and even though it seems like I'm probably ADD or something, like how I'll start 6 different topics and not even come back to some of them, like if I'm allowed to follow that natural flow, then I can get a lot of ideas out there into the universe and shared with you and shared with future me, or, you know, because I do go back and watch these occasionally when I want to try to understand a point. Like, these are like pinpoints in my journey, and sometimes I'm changing and moving through things so quickly. Like, I just went and had that healing journey. I mean, not that you're watching these in sequential order, but I just was in Door County, Wisconsin, having a healing journey from having my head thrown into the floor. And then one weekend later, I'm in southern Indiana writing the most peaceful song I've written in my, I was going to say adult life, but it's not. But it's just, you know, and now I'm back in Michigan having an adventure in Holland and bringing up stuff from my, like, childhood trauma. Again, if you didn't watch all the videos, that is not something about my mom, dad, brother, or sister. So I just want to state that, because otherwise I don't feel comfortable putting that out there. I've always talked about my trauma as if it started in my teen years, and that's just not true at all. But, again, what if I'm a soul that inherited something that thought could be worked through and lived through, so that I could come here and be a beacon of hope for you? So that I could come here and say, you know what? You can have ritualistic, horrible things happen to you, and you can have your mind and your body kind of split and disassociate so that you almost don't feel touch for much of your young adult life. And you can be in and out and all over the place, and then through a process, which is a personal process. And yes, you can use therapists or self-help books or hotlines to try to get through the darkest patches. But you can also use art. You can use songwriting. You can use journaling. You can use making weird videos. You can use whatever. It's a creative practice. Books that really help me with this. There's so many resources. Sometimes the stuff that was trying to attack it like a problem actually made it into a bigger problem. So that's more like the self-help section. But the stuff that tried to address me like a person that just happens to have trauma, which would be maybe books on creativity. Or like a writing book, if you like if you want to write stories or poetry or something, you know. It doesn't have to be about the trauma. Like, you can come to light around your own trauma while doing other things. And that's where I regret my therapy. But I mean, I don't regret, because I'm in this moment right now, and I love this moment right now, and I love my life right now, and I love my ukuleles. I have like 6 of them, all different colors, and I love that I have tape on my hat, and I love my boyfriend at home at our house 1 block away, because I didn't want my little adventure day to end yet, and I wanted to write one more song, because I was realizing that my voice, that one's more sacred. Having personal realizations about my own voice lately. It's not that it's more sacred, it's just more something I don't think I want to put into words. And if I could just suddenly go and put the ideas in your mind, then I would be happy to share it. But I don't think I want it in words. I think I want it to remain more of a feeling and an awareness in my body when I sing, and things that are changing. And maybe unblocking would be the only word I'm really willing to use. I'm willing to always use many more words. I just didn't want to get hung up on that right now, because this is getting long and I'm tired and I have beers in my back seat. And pumpkin spice wine. Not all for tonight, probably for like the next few weeks. But, yeah, I almost bought this one called Witch's Brew, which we used to get up at Leelanau Peninsula, Leelanau Winery. Or Brian would get it here, but then, but I don't, no offense, I don't really like witches, because I just don't like the idea of believing in the concept of like studying for your whole life or for generations to like learn to do it correctly, only to be like less powerful than another witch, or to be like casting spells, which is like you having an opinion and a feeling and then like projecting your opinion and feeling of what another person deserves onto them. I'm like, that's why I'm a God person. And I do believe I believe there are people who believe they are good witches, and it is not fair or kind for me right now to be sharing these opinions. And I know Harry Potter is a very cool movie, and I like watching those witches and wizards. So I'm not even trying to judge. I'm just... I guess I will share this, but I had a chapter of my life where I felt very manipulated by people who believed in that type of spirituality. And because it is about knowing things, and I believe in like the great unknown. I believe in my own non-knowing. I believe in my own kind of, and that's why I feel this kind of connection to Holy Spirit kind of thing. And again, that maybe is too Christian for you, but I would prefer over witchcraft. I would lean more towards Taoism. That's one of the things that resonates most with my soul. Or Buddhism sometimes resonates with me. Sometimes it requires too much emptiness. I like holding on to my story and a sense of self, not because I want to have an ego, but because I feel a divine quality that God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, or just life in general, if you just look at life objectively, it uses stories. We look at stories of people healing from trauma, or stories of people rising up from this or that problem, and it's like stories are a huge part of being human. And sometimes Buddhism will, or like the Power of Now, Buddhism and the Power of Now will both lead me to a place where I feel like they're kind of erasing you, which may be for good. Erasing, parts of your ego that are getting in the way. And so, like, if you can become that absent of ego, Shenpa, all of those things, like, and because I did study Buddhism for quite a while, like, and you become absent of that, like, I don't know. I mean, that gets very complicated. Like, what is the self? But if I have to be very simplistic about it, I prefer forms of spirituality, even like law of attraction. I'm very into that because I prefer things that have a self. Not because I believe in ego. If anything, I maybe need a little more ego so I could be more confident, so I could share and polish and refine things and be more useful to people, rather than kind of like hiding in a corner on YouTube where I almost partly hope no one will find me. Like, a lot of the time, that's how I feel. Someone wise who knows me well once said that they thought maybe I read Taoism at too young of an age. I think I got really into Taoism right around when I was living a mile from the towers when they fell on 9/11. Today's 9/11. I just said that in an earlier video, but in case you didn't see that. So it was a very traumatic experience, and I ended up going back to church at 12 West 12th Street in New York City. My first apartment there had been 212 East 12th Street in New York City, which is area code 212, 212, which is my lucky number, I think, because it was my first college dorm room too, 212 Trevor Hall. I share that a lot. And then I moved to the city with 312, and then I almost moved to the city with 412 Pittsburgh, but I didn't submit my application to a company at that college, which is probably good, because then I wouldn't have met Brian, and I love Brian very, very much. I almost had a different 412 experience when I was living in Chicago. A man with an apartment number 412. Ugh, I don't want to share that story. He was very, he offered me like $10,000. Okay, I'm stopping. to make music. This is weird. Okay. Anyway, 512. I never followed a 512. But Austin, Texas is 512. Patterns are weird. I, for a while, started wondering if I could just flip them out of order, or if maybe it should go up by, like, 212-313-414 because I grew up with the 414 area code, southeastern Wisconsin by Milwaukee. But I don't even know why I'm telling you this is so OCD or like just so weird. I don't think I'm technically OCD, but I really, really, really like numbers and patterns, and I don't know. Maybe I just get bored. I really must have been in the mood to sing out of tune before because this sounds so flat to me now. But at the time I thought it sounded good. Ugh. Alright, well, that's my life. That's my adventure night. Happy Friday, or whatever day it is when you're watching this. Bye!